And today we are going to talk about, I did say we, aren't you ready yet? No, I told you we were filming. No, your leaves look fine. Okay, yeah, ready? Okay. Alright. What do you mean your good side? Okay, better? So can we do the thing? Okay, so as I was saying, today we're going to talk about The Great Mouse Detective, one of my personal favorites. The Great Mouse Detective is actually based on a book series which I did not read, and we'll be discussing the movie, the Disney interpretation of that book series. Here with me today to discuss is Ratigan, the villain of our story. Okay, you're going to be like that. Professor Ratigan. You are the villain. No, I've seen it. I know how the story goes. You are the villain. Yes. What are you even a professor of? Villainy. Okay, well, it seems a little self-explanatory. No, I don't think it's open to interpretation. You're so silly. Okay, so for those who are not familiar with The Great Mouse Detective, basically, here's your plot summary. If Sherlock Holmes was a mouse, now you're all caught up. What? What do you mean they want more detail? How do you know what the audience wants? What do you mean you get fan mail? No, I don't get fan mail. Okay, well, since Professor Ratigan wants to have more detail in the plot summary, the story starts off with Olivia and her father celebrating her birthday in his toy workshop, and one of Professor Ratigan's henchmen busts in and kidnaps him, and she's left there all alone to try to figure out what to do. Olivia I admire her grit. She is a problem solver and a survivor. She really doesn't know what to do, but she has heard of this Basil of Baker Street character, and she knows that he has solved missing persons cases in the past. And she's like, well, I have a missing person. Let me go find the famous detective. So she goes to try to find him. She gets lost. And lucky for her, she gets found by my personal favorite character, Dr. David Q. Dawson. He's on the cover. You can see him right there. There he is. He has such a big heart. He stops to help Olivia. Later, during the all is lost moment, and every good story has one of those. Dawson's the one that pulls Basil out of his funk and gets things moving along again. So for characters, we've got the toy maker, Olivia, Dawson, and I'm getting to you. I want to talk about Basil first because it's his movie. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is The Great Mouse Detective, and that's not you. No, it's fine if you want to be like that. So we'll talk about Professor Ratigan and his identity crisis. You do have one. Yes, you do. So, Professor Ratigan, as his name implies, is in fact a rat. I did say it, and I'll say it again. He really doesn't like to be reminded of what he is. One of his henchmen does that accidentally, and that didn't turn out too well for that guy. This is pretty dark for a Disney movie, I gotta say. But it has always been one of my very favorites. So basically, Ratigan's motivation, I feel. Okay, fine. Professor Ratigan's motivation, I feel it lacks a little bit of depth. His only goal is to rule over all mousedom, which basically is the mouse equivalent of the British Empire, which I guess means rule the world, but it's very vague. And he wants to defeat Basil. I'm not sure what that means, or what it looks like. I mean, what does defeat him mean? Why do you want to rule over all mousedom? See, because is not a valid reason for world domination. Like once you catch that squirrel, where do you what do you do? What do you do then? You just sit in your fancy chair and be like, haha, I rule the world. Okay. Be that as it may, Radigan. You're going to interrupt me every time I say your name. Professor Radigan is one of the most memorable Disney villains, in my opinion. Out of the 3 songs in the movie, 2 are villain songs, and they're great. They're just lively and fun and just a good, humorous, a nice change of mood and pace. Like it gets really dark, but then you have this fun, bouncy song like right in the middle of it. It's really good. And he was voiced by Vincent Price, which, according to Wikipedia, which is, as you know, a most reliable source, he called that his favorite role. And you can tell because he just really had a lot of fun with it. It's fun to listen to his performance. A lot of big name production went into this movie, which I understand from some research that I've done over many years. I can't quote sources for you. It was basically a last-ditch effort to save the studio after The Black Cauldron had flopped the year before. And it worked because Disney's still around today and we still enjoy being entertained by them. The story goes how you think it will. Radigan tries to take over the world. Basil has to stop him, and they have this epic, climactic showdown battle scene inside Big Ben because, it's in London and that's the law. If you have a movie in London, you're going to be in Big Ben during the final scene. I don't know why, Professor. It's just a rule that we have. It's a dark climax. Like you can see the moment when Radigan snaps, and it's I don't know if you're. It was just very memorable for me. I remember that scene, the cinematography, the lightning, just at the perfect moment. The music is just it was powerful. Very suspenseful, riveting. I've seen this movie so many times, I could probably recite it for you, but I won't do that because we don't have time. So here's a little bit of a spoiler. Professor Radigan falls to what we must assume is his death, and it's very unlikely he survived, but also it is never confirmed, so he could be out there plotting revenge. They sort of at the end set up for a sequel or even a series, like Sherlock Holmes or Basil of Baker Street. I feel like there was a missed opportunity. I would have watched it if there had been more of them. At the end of the movie, Radigan's dead. Seems like kind of a waste of a good character. You were a genius. See, even Basil admits that. But the problem is that you were a genius twisted for evil. See, like, you could have made the world so much better place. You're not stupid. You just made really bad decisions. You have to use your powers for good. Like, that's the lesson. So, very briefly, what I really enjoy about the movie is just the plot was great, the characters are fun, I really love Dawson, he's the best. The music is just really just a lot of fun. The hand-drawn animation style that we don't get to see anymore. I also love how the rodents are like the only anthropomorphic characters in the movie. Basil has a dog, Toby, that helps him track criminals, but Toby's just a regular basset hound. He doesn't talk. Radigan wants me to tell you about his pet cat. Her name is Felicia, and he uses that cat to keep his henchmen in line, and I just think it's weird that a rat, yes, a rat, you are not a big mouse, okay? Look, you're not. I just think it's weird that a rat would have a pet cat, but it seems to work for them. So, Professor, how would you rate this movie? 7 out of 10, that's surprisingly high considered how, you lost and pretty dramatically, and also you might be dead, I think. But you did outsmart Basil that one time. Okay. You're really proud of that, aren't you? I'm going to rate it 10 out of 10 because bonus points for nostalgia. This movie's older than I am, and I can't tell you how many times I have seen it. See, you're a villain, so you shouldn't care about what's fair or not, and it's my video, so 10 out of 10. Great Mouse Detective is definitely worth an hour and 15 minutes of your life. So I want to thank Professor Radigan for joining me today. Not sure what your name will be next time, but if you want to name the plant and give me something to review, that's great. Leave a comment. Before we go, really quick, we're going to ask Jacob. Jacob! Okay, when you eat scrambled eggs, do you want ketchup or salsa?
Cheese. Ketchup on hot dogs.
Okay, we'll try that recipe next time and see if it's any good. Also, if you want Jacob to solve one of your problems or one of the world's problems, just drop a comment. We'll see what we can work out. My sticker came. I love it. I got one for the car too. Quick shout out to the random imaginary internet friend that made the art for me. And before we go, give you a little preview of next time. We will be discussing The Muppets Christmas Carol, which is classic. Michael Caine is Scrooge. It's the best movie. I love it. And if you're lucky, I might tell the story about how the frog puppet made me sad that one time. So until then, take care, keep it classy, and I'll see you then.